Hi, it's Jackie. This week we're gonna watch a crime film named Wild Things. Matt is a history teacher in a small town. He's both handsome and humorous, thus attracting lots of girls in school. Half of the beautiful girls in this town all have kind ambiguous relationships with Matt. Kelly has a crush on Matt for a long time. She just waits for a chance to approach him. This day, Kelly tells Matt she wants to help him wash a car. After washing the car, Kelly with a wet body comes to Matt's room. Her graceful body just shows up in front of him. Later on, Kelly angrily runs out of that room. What's going on? We really don't know. Kelly was born in a big real estate company. Her father suicides long ago. Grandfather builds that business. Her mother is an inheritor now. Kelly cries and tells her mother Matt raped her. Her mother is really furious and reports it to the police. But Kelly's testimony makes that female police can't help doubting. She thinks Kelly is just acting, but the sheriff doesn't dare to displease such a powerful family, so he has to track it down. Matt then gets suspended from work. The bank even ends his home loan temporarily, because Kelly's mother donates a lot for that school. Houses she built, the bank is also under her control. That night, Matt suddenly gets a thrashing for no reason. Ironically, there is no lawyer in this town who dares to help him in this situation. Luckily, one lawyer agrees to help him. This time, a rebellious girl student Sophie also tells Matt to rape her. Her testimony matches perfectly with Kelly's. In court, Kelly cries and criticizes Matt for his crime. Her lawyer's proofs turn out really sharp and persuasive, but Matt's lawyer is not easy to handle. He prepared well for this case. According to her testimony, Matt raped her in April last year, but a month later, Sophie got arrested because of relating to drugs. Police let her make a call, then she dials Matt's number. But that time, Matt was on a business trip. Thus, she can't get any help from Matt and is disciplined for 6 months. The lawyer doubts that Sophie just wants to make reprisals to Matt. Sophie is totally out of words. The lawyer warns her if she still keeps lying, she will have to take discipline for a long time. At this moment, the room is all quiet. They all stare at Sophie to see what she's gonna answer. Perceiving the severity of this, Sophie can't bear this pressure and tell him all the truth. Matt didn't rape her nor Kelly. Before, she thought she and Matt are good friends. But then he hurt her, so she decided to unite with Kelly to avenge Matt. But the mastermind of all these things is Kelly. Kelly loves Matt, but she finds out Matt and her mother have an affair. Kelly's really angry and decides to make that plan. Kelly turns from a victim to an injured person in a wink. Imprisonment is unavoidable, unless Matt withdraws the lawsuit against her. Kelly's mother has no way. She has to use all her trust funds to compensate Matt. Kelly extremely hates Matt. That $8.7 billion is a legacy of his father. That night Matt returns to the hotel and sees Kelly is waiting for him. Knowing that Matt has got money, Kelly and Matt really rejoice. It turns out that is their plan, to deceive Kelly's mother to give her all legacy. Kelly really wants to take that money, but she can't if her mother hasn't died yet. Quickly, the police find out some clues. They find out Matt sent money into an offshore account. He even pays a deposit for an island and buys a yacht. The police think it's a plan for Matt, Kelly, and Sophie. They know in this situation, there must be one unnecessary person removed, especially since the two of them are in love. They suppose it will be Sophie. The police then find Kelly and persuade her to stop do silly things, but she doesn't split any words out of her mouth. The police have to find Sophie, and shows her all these consuming bills they collected. They hope she can realize the danger and tell them the truth. They succeed in making her freak out, but she doesn't tell them anything though. Sophie then comes to meet Kelly. Kelly calms her down first and calls Matt. Matt tells them not to worry, just having to wait for a while. The three of them can live the life they want. But they can't meet right now, and can't take the bait from the police. After hanging up the phone, Sophie asks Kelly whether she and Matt ever have any bad thoughts in mind. Kelly suddenly slaps in her face. She falls down into the water and starts to cry. Unexpectedly, they begin to have some intimate actions. The police hiding far away doesn't figure out what's going on, but he still records that complicated scene. The sheriff is really angry. If the police sneakily observe in her private house, Kelly's mother definitely sues them and he will be related to that. But the police just care about the case. That two girls just have a fight in a court, but a few days later they turn so intimate. Moreover, they even mention Matt on the phone. All of these can clearly prove it must be a conspiracy. But the sheriff and his colleague don't think so. That night, Matt carries out his plan. She brings Sophie to a secluded area to meet Matt. Matt hints at Kelly to take a body bag. When she comes back, she can just hear Sophie scream far away. Then, they wrap her body and put her into a car. Matt buries Sophie in a marshland around that. Kelly can't see this scene, so she waits for Matt to handle this. The next day, police come to Kelly's house. He finds a muddy pond in front of the gate. Kelly is washing her car. The police smell something fishy here. He rushes to Sophie. She hasn't been back home since last night, which makes him can't help doubting. He guesses something bad has happened to Sophie. The police then follow the trace of her car and find out an accident scene. They find some blood and 2 teeth left over on a boat, but they can't find Sophie's dead body around. DNA result just comes out about a couple of weeks later. The police assure that Sophie must be killed, but his colleague doesn't believe in his unfounded statement though. He tells his colleague, if the DNA result shows it's not Sophie, he will give up this case. But before that, she has to help him track Matt and protecting Kelly. Kelly's really freaked out. She's afraid of the police to find out they will be done. Matt comforts them that she will be safe if just staying at home. After calming Kelly down, Matt sees that female police is supervising him. She reveals Sophie's death is not simply an accident. Matt pretends to be surprised, then invites her to his house. Matt gives her information about Sophie, telling me that she is a mysterious and unpredictable girl. He feels scared the most is Sophie and his mom. Plus, the relationship between Kelly and Sophie is quite complicated. Matt doesn't tell them at first because there is a rule among them. But now the situation seems to be out of control, there's no reason to conceal it anymore. Matt pretends to be a good man, and gradually moves towards that female police. They almost lose control. Suddenly, a sound brings them back to reality. Matt doesn't have time, he leaves her behind and goes. The female police, after considering for a while, she's totally misled. She tells her colleague he has to keep an eye on Kelly. Knowing that she has let Matt go, the police immediately rushes into Kelly's room. Suddenly, a sound explodes. Kelly is killed on the spot. The police luckily just get hurt. The police claim to protect Kelly, but seeing him, Kelly suddenly takes a gun and wants to shoot him. To save himself, he has to return fire. That police then gets fired. DNA result also shows that Sophie was murdered. Police also find Sophie's blood in Kelly's car. So they suppose Sophie got killed by Kelly. Being totally devoid of evidence, Kelly has to plead that guilty. At the same time, Matt is on an island, and enjoying the life of a rich person. Returning to the room, he freaks out when hears someone is taking a bath. Opening the door, it turns out that's the police who killed Kelly. It's still a conspiracy, but killing Kelly is out of his plan. But the police think that they just can be relieved until Kelly dies. Matt tells him the bank needs more than 2 days to finish transferring accounts, but it doesn't affect them much. Matt likes the sea, so he brings the police in his ship and goes play with him. But on the way, Matt tells the police to help him check the sail. When he is looking down to check, Matt suddenly spins the steering wheel and makes the police fall down to the sea. The police quickly hold a rope and climb on the boat. When he is beating Matt, Safa, who is supposed to be dead, appears and shoots an arrow towards him. After removing the police, there are just 2 winners on the boat. Kelly brings drinks to celebrate. Matt's afraid Sophie puts poison in his cup. Sophie laughs and says, the police are too silly to take action here, because she can assure that he won't be able to find the way back home without Matt. Matt ponders for a second and drinks. In a while, his stomach begins to hurt. Don't wait until Matt has any reaction. Sophie drops the sail, which pushes him down the sea. At the same time, that female police comes to Sophie's house when she's on vacation. A lady gives her an album and tells her it's Sophie's mother. That year, her grandfather raped her mother and killed her. Grandmother took pity on Sophie and decided to adopt her. Thus, Sophie and Kelly kind of have a blood relationship. Technically, Sophie has the right to inherit that legacy. Before leaving, she also knows that Sophie is actually a seaman. Her grandmother once tested Sophie. She's really amazed by the result. Her IQ reaches 200. This conspiracy is all under Sophie's control. First, Sophie sneakily took sensitive photos of Kelly and Matt, then threatening him to help her defraud property. She told Matt to find the police to persuade him to cooperate. She even ripped her teeth by herself that night. Even the only lawyer who agreed to help Matt is also hired by Sophie. Then, the lawyer helped her take money. In return, she also gave him a sum of commission. Throughout that story, the results turn out to be totally unpredictable. A girl seems to be weak but actually has an IQ of 200. This story warns us not to easily believe in the surface of a thing. Okay, that's the end. See you next week.